Okay, today I'm going to fit the Tech tank protection bars to my Ducati 1200 Enduro. It's a 2019 bike, never done it before, no expert, and it looks quite complicated. I've got the instruction manual from Ducati. We'll have a look, see how it goes. So, first step in this operation is to take off the passenger seat, which is quite simple. Just basically insert the key and then the actual rider seat by removing the studs from either side. There's one either side, so that's quite a simple job. We'll do that first. Okay, I've got the seat off. What I should have said was it was a 5mm Allen key. Next operation is to remove this cover on the front. It just pulls off. It's not actually held in place by any fixings as such. It's just a matter of unclipping it, and it should just lift off quite easily. There we are. It's just difficult to get your hands in there, that's the problem. Okay, so that cover's off, and then it's just a case of removing two screws here and the two screws there holding this side cover assembly on here. So let's get those off. Okay, so I've removed the left hand cover and I've just taken out the two screws here. It actually says in the instructions to loosen them, but you actually do have to take them out. So the operation to remove this is simply push it forward like so, and that then will come out sideways like so. So it's as simple as that basically. So let's put that safe. Okay, so the side covers are next. They've got to be removed. These aluminium side covers. This screw here is actually a T25 torque, and the two fixing bolts studs there, sorry, are a 5 or a 6mm Allen key. I think it's a 6 actually. Yeah, no, it's a 5. So simple, just remove those three either side and lift off the panels. Okay, so first thing I need to tell you, there are 8 screws holding the side cover on under the aluminium cover, and then the back edge of it, it's got a little rubber bung that pulls out. Make sure you take all the screws out, because there's one sort of hidden away on the right hand side at the top, which I didn't see initially. So yeah, take these off and we'll go to the next step. I'm not going to film the both sides being removed, so I'll speak to you soon. Okay, so side panels are removed. Next job is to remove this tank cover. Basically there are 8 fixings holding this on. One there, one there, one there. Same the other side, and there's 2 at the back here. So here, I tapped it, didn't show you. So let's get that off. It's quite a large item, so let's see how that goes. So after removing all the studs, got the tank cover off. Bit fiddly getting it off around the out of the seal for the tank ring, and also this clip here, don't forget to take that off, because you don't want to pull on these wire connectors. And it's just a matter of pulling and pushing a little bit, not forcing anything to get it off. Took a little longer than I thought because I didn't want to break anything, but there it is on the floor. And move on to the next step. Okay, the next step is to actually turn off the fuel. There's a petrol tap on the right hand side at the bottom, just rotate it fully clockwise. And then obviously you need to remove the fuel pipe, which is pushed onto the spigot. Just undo the Jubilee clip and pull it clear. And there will be a little tiny bit of fuel leakage, but nothing hardly. And then do the same obviously on the opposite side. It's exactly the same. Next job then is to actually remove the tank securing clamps. Just 2 bolts either side. They're not very tight. Once you pull the tank back, then you can access the bracket. Just a quickie, what I would say is these tank retaining brackets are held on with a torque fastening, which is a T30. So it wasn't particularly tight, but you do need obviously a torque wrench, or Torx wrench I should say. Okay, so I've actually undone all the fixings holding the tank on, and I've actually taken off the tank ring, because that obviously has pipes connected to it which actually restricts the movement backwards. So I'll just get a torch a second, and don't forget these 2 securing screws here. There's one there and there's one the other side. They were quite tight. I was quite surprised. So you make sure you've got a good Allen key. And I've moved the tank backwards as gently as I can. And obviously, if you didn't have any fuel in the tank, this would be a lot easier. I've got about half a tank at the moment, so should have really drained it. And all you're doing is moving it back until, I'll try and get the light in there, you can access this bracket here. And depending on which bracket you have, and this one luckily enough has bushes behind that, what you can actually see there is for the bracket for the crash bars to be installed. So I haven't actually got to take these out on my bike, but you do on some bikes if you don't have the pre-drilled bush. Yeah, you can actually see it better there in this one, hopefully. Let's try and get in there a bit better. It's a bit awkward. So there's the bracket. There's the bracket. So look, there's the bracket there. And if you look in the back there, you can just see the pre-drilled threaded bush. So that is where the bracket for the engine bars is fitted. So that's the next job, and that could be a little bit fiddly, and that's obviously why you've got to pull the tank back to access it from the side. So let's carry on with that. Okay, so I've laid all the pieces out on the bench, looking at what's required. Next job is obviously to fit these brackets, and these 2 brackets fit either side of the bike where I just showed you on the pre-threaded bush in my case, using this spacer M8 by 35mm bolt and the washer. So fit those both sides now, and that should take a couple of minutes, but hopefully I can access them okay, and we'll move on to the next step. Okay, managed to get these brackets on. They're not tight at the minute. It's not easy to get them in there. You've got to have that tank all the way back, and then you've got to fit this sleeve into the pipes to stop any abrasive action. But that took quite a long time, and one of the main reasons is you've got to have that tank well back, and it's got to be well supported. So that's the left hand side of the bike, and they're still loose at the moment. I'll move around, and that's the one on the right hand side of the bike. And you've also got to put a bit of braided sleeve in on the pipe going to the oil cooler, which is really difficult, but I managed to do it. So now move on to the actual crash bar fitting. Okay, so now we move on to actually putting the bars on the actual bike itself. So first job is to remove this Allen screw here, 10mm Allen key required, and I guess it's pretty tight. And when that comes out, this one, the screw is going to be fitted, torqued up to 40 kilonewtons, I think it is, or newton meters. As you can see, it's threaded on the inside, so I recommend that you put some graphite grease on the threads, but I'll be putting copper slip on it, so let's do that first. Okay, so the tank is back on and the bars are on, and while they were easy to access, I've also put the auxiliary lights on and wired them in, so it looks like it's starting to come together. Let's do a shot from the front. You can see the bars are all on, looking quite neat really. And on the other side, see the lights are on and they're all working. So it's just a matter now of putting all the panels back together. Okay, so the bike is back together. Tank's on, tank covers on, side panels are on, bars are on, lights are on. One thing I'd like to share with you, if anyone's thinking of attempting this job, is when you fitted the bracket for the bars, don't bother fitting the bars straight away. Fit all the panels back on, the tank back on, because when you fitted the bars, these panels don't go on. You've got to actually remove the bars to fit the side panels, which that's exactly what I did, because the instructions show the bike with the bars fitted naked, no paneling at all. So don't make the same mistake as me, because that will save you probably an hour. Second tip, anything that's got a threaded hole, make sure you try the bolts in it. One of my bolts would not screw in, and I had to retap the hole with the bars in situ, which was very, very difficult, so I do that as well. And probably tip number 3 is try and get a bit more room. Make sure you've got plenty of room to store the stuff and move around the bike, which unfortunately, due to the mess in my garage, I haven't. But it's quite a long job, but it's all done now and everything's working, so thanks for watching.